Hello, good day, and welcome back to yet another stream. We're continuing off with the issue tracker that we left last time. We had made a considerable amount of progress. We were able to actually submit an issue on one of the boards, and today we're going to hopefully complete being able to delete an issue as well as updating an issue. I won't have much time because I do unfortunately have to head to a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I'm going to be up early for that, but hoping we can make at least a considerable amount of progress today still. So yeah, let's see how far we can get. The one issue that I had was trying to perform a delete request on axios.delete, and I was playing around with that off stream trying to figure out how it worked, and it seems there was something in the response. So we're gonna have a look at that and just try and figure out why we're having the issue that we're having. Okay, so that's an index.html. And then I did notice that we get a... So let's Google this quickly. Axios request abort, because I couldn't figure this issue out. You know what I just realized now? We don't have a catch. So maybe if I had a catch I could figure out what happened. Axios error, the error, oops, because then this will at least tell us what the error is when we catch the error, because right now we're not catching that error. So let me see what the error is. There you go, request aborted. Okay, but that doesn't help either, because that's the exact same issue that that we saw already. Error request aborted. I wonder if I need to apply like a header to it or something. What if I axios.post it? Because we know... Let's just see what happens if we try to post. Okay, so it's the same issue. Aborted. The other weird part is we don't get that console log. Got it to delete issue. You know what I'm thinking? Let me just try something. I just want to test something quick. It might just be... No. So it's not because it was an arrow function. The part that I don't get is if delete issue is being called and we have an on submit, maybe it shouldn't be on submit because that's form. Maybe it should be maybe we should have an on click. How about that? So instead of on submit, we're gonna have an on click. So maybe instead of submit, on click, or maybe we can have prevent default. I want to test something. I just want to see something. It might be clearing so fast. And then if we prevent default, E is not defined. Interesting. E is right there. E dot prevent default. Huh. Interesting. Let's try it as a function. Function delete issue. Like so. So I don't know if this is just being weird with the HTML. No, E is not defined again. Weird. Okay, so what I want to do is change this to on click delete issue. And we're not going to have a type for the button, it's just going to be an on click. And the weirdest part is we don't get like... Let me try prevent default. Because we don't get the console log, which we should be getting. E is undefined. Oh, because I didn't specify E in there. Again, E is undefined. Huh. Now this is most peculiar. On click delete issue. Unless I'm clicking the wrong one, but that can't be the case. Also wouldn't be triggering. On click delete issue, right? And you call E is the event. So when you click that, you know exactly what the reference was. So unless it's because we're generating it from the server, and that's the weirdest part for me, is that when we click something, it's not calling delete issue. Where are these console logs going? Like, that's all I want to know. Is if we're updating this, if we're updating issue, we should see a console log. And yet, we see nothing. And why is it trying to... It changes the ID of the page. Interesting. Is that because of Axios? I just realized that now when you submit. I want to see if that was an Axios thing. It's not an Axios thing, so there's something else that is changing the page. It can't be issue, can it? Because these are issues when there's an actual issue. Could it be? I doubt it. I mean, there's one way to check. We just delete all of this. Yeah, so it's not that. Okay. So there's something else. Huh. Something else that is changing the... Oh, could it be... Wait, this is issue. This is index. Let's update, that's delete. Test form 3. ID delete ID name. Placeholder. On click delete issue. Could it be... Shouldn't be this. Commented stuff. Stick that over there. How's it doing that? Like, that's... That makes no sense. How is it posting a query with the ID equal to that? How? Test form 3, test form 2, test form... And that has a method post action API. How? Like, how? How in the actual hell is it doing that? Instead of a form, I'm going to change this to a div. Because I'm just curious. How? How? How is it changing the query? Yo, that's trippy. Is there something else that they have? But how? Because these are all just routes that it's responding to. And we're not posting. How is that my mind right now? It doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense, like literally 0 sense. This shouldn't be happening. And yet somehow it is happening. There's literally nothing else. How is that possible? No, like really, how is that possible? There's no scripts. How is the URL changing for the page? Oh my god. How? How does it change it? Tell me! How does it do that? How does it change the page? How does it change the page? How? Is it even updating? Are these changes showing? Oh, it's not. Look. That's in the header. Hold on. So we put test in there, right? Check. And then reload. There's no test. There should be a test here. Huh. Okay. We've run into a curious issue. There should be test in this header. There isn't. So somehow... Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, someone explain this to me, because I literally have test in my glitch. And then reload the page. And there's no test here. I'm gonna put a list item here that should say an example, right? Under user stories. Look! The changes aren't showing, what the fuck? So I was going crazy for nothing. So it's either a caching issue, or it's a glitch issue. Even a hard refresh doesn't change that. So how is that possible that we can see one thing on the front facing part, and yet the code changed, but it's not displaying the code change? How's that possible? What if we preview it live? It's not even showing it now. Wow. Okay, like, glitch is broken. It's the only thing that I can think of. No wonder like the Axia stuff and everything else wasn't working. It makes complete sense now. Wait. Oh my god. Okay. So first of all, that was the wrong file. There we go. I'm gonna close issue because we're clearly having an issue with issue. Okay, so that just reloads. So on click, let's go test E and create a new function. Function test E log the E or the event. I just want to see something. E is not defined, like, again. Also, the other part that I didn't understand is why is the ID changing every time we do that? We don't have any script that controls that. It changes ID to that ID. It's almost like internally something is... It changed the ID of the test form, because maybe... It just doesn't make sense, because you can't post. Oh man. This is probably one of the craziest things that I've come across. And we've come across a lot of crazy things. And it just doesn't make any sense. There is nothing in the code that would allow it to change the path of our URL, yet, and there's no submit, there's no handler, there's no nothing, yet when you enter something in this form and you click, it will change the path into a query with the ID as a parameter. How? There's no post. There's nothing. There's like literally nothing that would allow it to do this. Literally nothing. And yet it's doing it. I don't know how to deal with that. I really don't know how to deal with that. So unless there's something now that I have to dig in deeper. But it's not posting. Again, I have to stress the fact that it's not posting, so it can't be changing something. Because there's no post request that's going through. There's no submit even, we took that away. Wow, this is crazy. So here, when you request a project, you view the issues. Here, when you get the index, it sure doesn't have user stories, does it? And again, I don't even know why I'm checking the server, because this is not even a back-end thing. This is a front-end thing. It's not even reaching the server, so how is that possible? There has to be something. This is why I hate using boilerplate, because you have no idea what someone did. And it could be something so small that's now lingering somewhere. But as far as the index page goes, like, I literally see nothing. And now submits are fine. Method, post, actions, that's fine. It's just this one, test form 3, has a mind of its own. All I want to know is, how is it loading that script? Literally no script is running. And the server is responding with the right file. The file that we edited. See, how does that work? How does it post ID and how does it... Oh, I swear this is a caching thing. It has to be. Because how is it posting all that data? Could it be because of name? Is that an automatic thing that I didn't realize? Let me remove name and placeholder. Could that be it? Maybe I'm just out of the loop with what HTML5 does with forms. It is name! What the hell? So it's name! Wait, let's figure out if it's name or placeholder. I think it's name. So name posts as what? So the moment you add something and there's a name parameter, it treats it as a query. How the hell does that work? HTML5 form parameter. I'm so behind then with the name parameter. So it's name name that does that. The name attribute is used to reference elements in JavaScript or to reference form data after a form is submitted. Only form elements with the name attribute will have their values passed when submitting a form. Like it doesn't say anything about the fact that it adds it to the URL. At least we're getting somewhere now. Jeez. Maybe it's because, you know what I just realized? Maybe it's because of the fact that we didn't specify the method. There we go. Notes on get. Appends form data into the URL in name value pairs. Okay. So what I think the issue is that the form defaults to get. Yeah, there you go. Default get. Okay, so we just figured something out now. Wow. Okay, so we need to specify a default method, I guess. So it has to be post. I wonder if action, can action be like a form? Can the action be a function? Like, can I just have the action be... So action is just... Wait, you do JavaScript? Does that work? It seems we might have to use jQuery again. Like they were using initially. Unless, hold on, we knew that it has to be method equal to post. Maybe we don't need an action. And then on click test E. I'll change it to an on submit, but let's just start small steps, baby steps. Okay, so this should stop posting like that. Now we know it defaults to get. So there should be a post now. Let's check the console. Okay, reference E is not defined. That's still an issue. I wonder if I can use this. instead of E. No. Okay, that's weird. Okay, let's try that and remove the Ajax call. And let's pick up the latest version of jQuery. Okay, so now we have jQuery. So now we should be able to use that again. And then jQuery should take over the onSubmit event and hopefully handle that better than we're trying to. And then just have this button be type submit. So button type submit. Yeah, that should be it. And let's see if it really is that. So we can make some progress. Okay, finally, jQuery captured it. At long last. That took way longer than it should have. Okay, cool. So now that we know that's working, we got Axios as well. And now we can stick our Axios call into there. Which I think will be this. So Axios.delete data, and we also need the ID. Shouldn't we prevent default first? And then ID, document.getElement by ID, delete ID.value, and then Axios.delete data, then response, Axios error. Cool. See how that goes. Okay, there's the event. Now, did we get a response from the server? I didn't have the logs open. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we did. Delete body. So there's nothing in the body. But we did get a response from the server. Okay, so that's something. There shouldn't be a parameter, should there? Is it a parameter? Because it's name-based? Only one way to find out. Okay, there you go. So the parameters... Okay, so it gets the project, but there's nothing else in it. Oh, you know what I think it is? We need data. Request.data. Remember? We're posting as... on behalf of Axios, and Axios stores that variable in data. And I think to access it, we need to access data. Data is undefined though, huh? Okay, it's definitely somewhere there though. I mean, the other thing we can do is just log the entire delete request and just log request and try to go through request and try to figure out what's going on. Let's try that out. And then let's just see where, if at all, it's storing it. Method delete, okay. Let's do a search for this. See if we can find it. No, we don't find it. Interesting. So Axios, where are you sending this data? Because there's nothing in the body. Shouldn't it be in the body? Let me read this entire thing. They use the data key. And so do we. I wonder if that's the issue, because we do data with ID instead of data. We could try that. Because you have data. And then we can have ID. Let's try that, if it makes a difference at all. Oh, there you go. The body now is ID. Okay, so that was what the issue was. The data, and then inside of it, every key will get added to body. Okay, finally. Oh, at long last. And then at the end of this, we want to do id.value equal to null. Just empty it again. Okay, and then the API, we just need request.body.id. ID from request.body. And then we can do things such as so this should in theory be like this. We have so it's issue. I think it's issue. Did we create a new? Yeah, issue. So issue dot delete one ID is based on ID, right? And if there's an error, just do something like that. I wonder if it has a return function though. Delete one. Delete one mongoose. There has to be a return option, huh? Check the API. It would be under. Wouldn't that be a model? Find one and delete. We could find by ID. What's the difference with find one and remove versus find one and delete? Sounds like the same thing, no? Okay, but this should be what we want. Okay, so conditions, options, callback. Returns the query. So if we don't specify anything else, it will return the query. So let's do the conditions and callback. Issue dot find one and delete function which takes a error and doc. If error, the, what do we call it? The issue has been deleted. Let's just see. So based on ID, given the ID that we entered. Okay, let's give that a try. So this should give us an error. That doesn't exist. So it was a cast error because obviously there was no such document. And now we're gonna actually try delete something that does exist. Okay, so under issues we have this ID, and I'm going to pass this ID in now, and hopefully it deletes it. Let's see what happens. There we go. So we want issue title instead of the entire thing, because now it deleted it. Perfect. So the issue doc dot issue title, if I remember correctly. Issue title, yeah, exactly. And then let me see if it actually did delete it from the database. Yeah, it actually did. Perfect. Okay, so that's working. We can just return console log delete error. Well, instead of having the error like that, I wonder if we shouldn't just have... Well, we need to tell the user what went wrong, don't we? So we need to respond positively. res.json res.status 200.json status well, we can just copy this, can't we? And then let's see what happens with that. Under API. And let's go create a new ticket. That work? We might have messed that up from last time. No, it worked. It was just not visually showing anything. Okay, so now if I enter that in, the issue tester. Okay, there it is. So if we go and delete it now, there you go, and we get a response. The issue tester has been deleted. Perfect. And then the Axios response is, there it is. Status 200, status text, okay. Okay, so as long as we respond, and then data.status is the message that we want. So I do believe there's an area under the form that says JSON result. So you know what we can do? We can, on the response, document.getElementById JSON result, and then we can basically do response.inner HTML equal to response.data. Was it response.data? Response.data.status. There you go. So that should give us the response in there. And if it fails, we need to also specify as such. This is not going to be a simple one-liner. If error, return res.status. I'm not sure what error I'm going to use yet. .json status. The issue could not be found or deleted. With the given ID could not be found or deleted. Now we can also log what the reason was, just for ourselves for now. Okay, how about that? Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Request failed with status code 400. Okay, so it failed, but there is a way to access that. I think it's error.status or response. Axios response. Error.response. I think it was response. That still exists because of the Axios object. I could be wrong, but it's worth checking out. Because Axios does have that option from what I remember. Yeah, there it is. Axios response. And then you get data. There you go. So it's response.data. Error.response.data. Okay, so then what we want to do is set that to equal error.response.data.status. And then we should see text pop up here. There, the issue with the given ID could not be found or deleted. And let's find the correct response to use, because 400 is generic. So bad request was should it just be a 404 not found? Could not be found or deleted. I guess 404 would make more sense. So have the server respond with a 404 the issue, the given cannot be found or deleted. Cool, so there's that. Well, we could just do element and let this be ID. And then data is just ID, and then element dot value is empty. Cool. Perfect. Why is this still an Axios response? Didn't we? Why is this still an Axios response? Huh? I'm not logging that. Axios response. That's weird. Where do I have? Weird. Okay, weird. Let's try that again. Just gonna reload this and reset the cache. Okay, that's better. Only issue now is that it turns it red when it's required. Is it required on the form? Required it is. How do I reset it? Maybe I should prevent default after all of this happening. Maybe it will just go through by itself. Maybe. Let's find out. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Fine. Then we'll just do that and live with that. But at least we can delete things now. And let's get the rest of the requirements. So here's what it should return. ID, issue title, issue text, This is what it needs to return when you post a when you post it. Okay, so under API, this is what we need to return. I'm just gonna break this down so that I can still see it. Okay, so we need a created on. I wonder if created on and updated on would be the exact same. Yeah, it looks like when it's created, it is the exact same. Okay, so issue title, issue text. We need created on, created. Oh, that's destructuring. Hold on, I don't mean to put it there, I mean to put it here. Created on. Ah. I wonder if we can just do a date and date.now. It's created on as well as updated on, which is a date. And I mean, we could do a pre-save, but I wonder if I can do a default. I think we're gonna have to do something like this, where it's type, date, default, date.now, and do the same for both actually. So that when I post, save response under API, and let's see what happens when we try to save now. Test 1, 2, 3, test, dead, submit. Okay, so there we go. We get a created on, which is the correct, and updated on, which is correct as well. I wonder why it puts it first though. But anyway, it does exist now. And then if I go to the database, Yeah, there we go. We get created on and updated on. My only issue is why I think I know why. So it's ID, issue title, issue text, and then it's the created on. Created on which is date.now and updated on which is also date.now. And then we continue with, so it's updated, wait, created on, updated on, and created by, assigned to. We also need an open true and then a status text. I wonder if by default open should be set to true, because you're just creating it. Open, which is a boolean, and then I wonder if we remove the default and we just make it date instead of setting a default, so just date. And then that should give me the order that I wanted in. And there we go. So there's the ID, issue title, issue text, created on, updated on, created by, assigned to is empty, open is true, status text is also empty, and that's the order that I wanted it in. So basically I need to return that entire object, save for the underscore v. I wonder why it's an array. There's an array there. Oh, okay. I think I know why it's an array. For all the projects. If you want to know every single project. The object saved and returned will include all of these fields, black for optional no input, and also created on, updated on, open, boolean, true for open, false or closed, and ID. Oh, okay. So it will be different when you get. The only thing that should be returned will include all of those fields, and also include created on, updated on, open, and ID. So what does it want to return? Basically all of this? I'd assume so. Status text. So basically everything. So we need a response here. Return res.status 200.json. And we want an object that has response.id Response.id, what else do we want? Issue title, response.issue title. Wait, can't I do this? ID, issue title, issue text, created on, updated on, what else? Created by, assigned to, open, status text, equal to response, just destructured. What's it complaining about now? Is already declared in the upper scope? Where? Oh, damn it. We could do this. Data. And just add response ID and issue title is response.issue title and issue text is response.issue text and created on is response.created on and updated on is response.updated on. Created by is response.created by. This will just be the response. And then open is response.open. Probably a better way of doing this, but yeah. So this is the data that we want to send back. And then we want to send data just like that. So that's for the API. And then what I want to change as well is index on test form 1. You're not going to have Ajax. In fact, what was submitting before? Wait, where'd our original stuff go? Because we had our Axios.post, didn't we? Did we never post? I'm pretty sure we did. Weird. So what we can do is this. Copy the majority of this. And just stick it in here. And don't worry about that. Okay, so we prevent the default, we get that ID, which is now going to be the data for this. Is going to be a whole lot more. So if we actually just serialize that data and then we stringify it, it's going to make life so much easier. But then it's using Ajax and not Axios. So that's something that I'll continue with tomorrow. But yeah. So far we can delete issues, which is great. And then updating is going to be easy. We're just going to do update 1 and it will solve itself, essentially. Okay, so let's just try one more test delete. I just want to make sure that's still working after everything we've changed. So we have a issue here. We enter an ID, we hit delete, and we should see an update below. Okay, so there's the event. And there's the API right there. And then there's null to sort out. Wow, this has been quite the busy day. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare this JSON response. And we're gonna send that back. So when you create an issue, all the fields will be returned. And then for the delete, I just have to make sure that we're responding with that status and we're displaying that status to the user. Aside from that, like I said, the update is going to be pretty simple. That's just going to be under the put request, and we're going to find a document that already exists with the given fields, because they've given us the ID. So obviously we need to know which ID it is that we're updating. So we search for a document based on that ID, and then whatever fields that you change here would basically just be overridden. And then you could check if the issue will be opened or closed. So yeah, that's pretty much straightforward. Hopefully we can get this done tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna leave things off here for now, and I'll continue then. So until then, bye for now.